Today's episode of the Locked On Sabres podcast brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. We've got an exit interview for you today. Jeff Skinner will break down his season. We'll look ahead with number 53. Also, some draft lottery stuff, some playoff stuff. That is all ahead here in the Locked On Sabres podcast.
Your Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Joe DiBiase flying solo on today's show at Sneaky Joe Sports to follow me on Twitter, at JR Hanskin to follow Jordan on Twitter. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe it wherever you may be watching or listening. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. Really helps us out. We're still chasing 1,000. We're almost there. We didn't get there by May. Maybe set the bar a little bit too high, but we're closing in. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please help us reach our goal. That'd be great. We've got a exit interview today with Jeff Skinner, recapping Jeff Skinner's 2021-2022 season. We're not actually talking to Jeff Skinner, by the way, but we're going to break down his season. We're going to look ahead with number 53 and really determine what we now have in a guy that 1 year ago we probably thought was a sunk cost, that we had spent the money. We were just going to have to live with it. But now we might have something of real value to the Sabres going forward. So we'll talk about Skinner, but the playoffs continue to roll along. And I'm a big Penguins guy in this opening round. I'm a big Kings guy as well. Those are my two teams coming in. I bet on the Penguins to beat the Rangers in their series. I bet on the Kings to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not loving that bet right now. They're doing okay. They're tied 2-2 in the series after a 4-0 win over the Oilers. So I'm not feeling not great, but I'm not feeling great either about the Kings and that bet. But that was always going to be a long shot anyway. The Penguin series, that one is going to really perturb me if they do not win it. They have been dominating the New York Rangers. So if they don't come away with a series win against the Rangers, then hockey, right? Goalies happen. Igor Shesterkin, goalies happen, because the Penguins have been dominating that series. They've been with the scoring chances and the shot attempts and the shots, the goals, everything. They've been the dominant team. They played tonight on Monday? Yeah, Monday night, 7 o'clock. Almost forgot what day it was. Hosting the Rangers at home. Small underdog, too. -105 is all. Oh, that's my favorite bet of the night. So easily. -105 on just a far superior Penguins team. I know Louis Domingue in net. He's getting the nickname King Louis, though. So he's playing great. He's earning nicknames. That's how that series is going for that guy. So not going to pick against them just because of who's in net tonight. Penguins are my team. And then all the other series are good, right? They're good series. They're not good games. 4, I think, is the number. Maybe it's 8. But I think it's 4 1-goal games so far. Like, if that's not the number, it's close. There have been so many blowouts. 4-0 last night, Kings over Oilers. 7-3 Lightning over the Maple Leafs. 5-2 and 5-2 also for the Bruins and the Blues over the Wild and the Hurricanes. Penguins 7-4. Avalanche 7-3. Capitals 6-1. Oilers 8-2. Wild 5-1. Leafs 5-2. 5-1 Panthers over the Capitals, 6-0 Oilers over the Kings, 6-2 Wild over the Blues. These are all scores that have happened. Avalanche 7-2 over the Predators. I mean, just it goes on and on and on. Blowout after blowout. We're not getting competitive games. All the series are tight, right? They're all tied 2-2. Or they have the series tonight that are 2-1 that could get evened up at 2-2. And then you have the Avalanche that are just destroying the Predators like we all knew they would. So I guess they're good series and not good games, if that can be, those two things can coexist. I think that's what we're viewing right now with the playoffs. But the Penguins are my team right now. If I have one betting advice for tonight, it would be Penguins -105 over the New York Rangers at home. by the way. What else we got going on right now? The draft lottery tomorrow night. The Sabres have a 5% chance to win the first overall pick, which most likely will be Shane Wright, the center from Kingston in the OHL. 5% chance. And Shane Wright is not quite generational, and he's not quite the leader of a bad class. Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle this year. We got a really strong player, gets Patrice Bergeron comparisons, but is he going to completely change the course of a franchise? He could, but not McDavid hype, not Eichel hype, not Matthews hype. Somewhere just below that. I would say is what Shane Wright. That's what's on the line Tuesday night, and the lottery will take place in New Jersey, I believe, just after 7 o'clock. Again, 5% chance for the Sabres. They can move all the way up to number 1 overall. This year, the change in the lottery is teams can't jump more than 10 spots. So, for instance, the Vegas Golden Knights at 16, who will give their pick to the Sabres unless they jump into the top 10, they can only jump as high as 6. So if they win the lottery, if I have this right, they win the lottery, they go to 6. And then their pick would stay with them. The Sabres would get their first round pick next year. But the Golden Knights only have a 0.5% chance of winning the lottery. So probably not going to happen. So that's what's in store tomorrow night. Also tomorrow night, the Rochester Americans open their playoff series with the Utica Comets. Tuesday night in Utica. That's a 5-game series. Utica was the number 1 team in the Amerks Conference throughout the season in the AHL. So big game for them. Jack Quinn, JJ Peterka, Artur Ruotsalainen's having a really nice series. He's supposed to be going overseas after the year, though, so he's done for the Sabres, but he was awesome in the first round, the play-in tournament that they had with Belleville. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is injured, and he is on the way back, it sounds like, but not quite ready to return just yet. So that's what's happening tomorrow with the Amerks. I'm going to try to go to one of these games in Rochester. I think they play Sunday at 5 and then next Tuesday at 7. So Sabre fans will have a couple of opportunities to check out the Amerks. Unless it's 5-game series. So they could get swept in 3, and then you wouldn't have that game 4 in Rochester. But you'll at least have Sunday, and maybe you'll have Tuesday. We'll come back, and we'll talk about Jeff Skinner. Recap his season, little exit interview exercise with all these players that we're going through. We did Tage Thompson last week. Today we'll do Jeff Skinner. So we'll break him down. We'll look back on his season. We'll look ahead with number 53 when we come back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We're brought to you by betonline.net, your number 1 source for all your betting stats and sports information, like the Penguins minus 105 against the New York Rangers. What a steal. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting, the playoffs, esports, everything you need. Head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. We're also brought to you by Built Bar. Summer is coming, and with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw them in your bags and your kids' backpacks. Make sure that everyone has a bar so they are fueled for your summer activities. They got flavors for everybody, 12 flavors of bars, puffs as well, cookies and cream, mint brownie, brownie batter. Puff is my favorite. They're all healthy. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, only 4 net carbs. Works for my keto diet, 17 grams of protein. Go to Built.com, get all your favorites, banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, and so many more. They are delicious. New flavors coming out all the time. Check them out at Built.com. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15. You'll get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Joe DiBiase back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Make your next listen Locked On Now. Nightly recaps of every NHL game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. What happened with Jeff Skinner this season? Let's do an exit interview with the Sabres winger, Jeff Skinner, 3rd year with the Buffalo Sabres. Wait a minute. That's not right. 4th year with the Buffalo Sabres. Excuse me. And it was a revenge tour for Jeff Skinner. It was a season to dunk on Ralph Krueger, a season to really look back at the just truly pitiful job that Ralph Krueger did with Jeff Skinner, getting the most out of him. No one has ever gotten less out of a player than everyone else has gotten a lot out of. But Ralph Krueger figured out a way, and we really saw the proof in the pudding this season, didn't we? that it wasn't a Jeff Skinner problem in any way, any shape, any form. It was Ralph Krueger and Ralph Krueger alone that caused Jeff Skinner to see his production go in the toilet. And the numbers back it up. Phil Housley with Jeff Skinner, 82 games played, 40 goals, 23 assists, 63 points. So under Housley in that one full season, Jeff Skinner had 0.76 points per game. Then 84 games played under Ralph Krueger. Jeff Skinner had in 84 games, 16 goals, 10 assists, 26 points, 0.31 points per game. And the per 60 minutes is actually closer to the year before. A lot of it was just ice time. Most of it, I think, was his teammates under Krueger. A lot of Vladimir Sabatka on his wing, Cody Eakins, fourth line, not a lot of playmakers that he was playing with. Under Phil Housley, Skinner played 18:31 per night. Under Ralph Krueger, he played 15:30 per night. Under Don Granato, back up 17:06. So what did we see? 40 goals in 82 games with Housley, 16 goals in 84 games with Krueger. It went right back up as soon as Ralph Krueger was gone. Don Granato, that's Don Granato's music. He's onto the bench. 108 games played under Don Granato. Jeff Skinner has 38 goals, 36 assists, 74 points for 0.68 points per game. So 0.76 with Housley, 0.68 with Granato, 0.31 with Krueger. Krueger cut Skinner's production per game in more than half. You can't even say in half. It was more than half. So I think a lot of this had to do with coaching. And what Don Granato did with Jeff Skinner was he put him right back up with scorers. He put him right back up there with playmakers. He put him right back up there with players that could get the most out of Jeff Skinner, that Skinner could work off of, create rebound attempts off of, to give and goes, all of it. Skinner was great in his season with Don Granato, his first full season with Don Granato. In part, who did he play the most with? 782 minutes with Tage Thompson. 487 minutes is second, by the way, with Rasmus Dahlin. 455 minutes in third with Alex Tuch. Thompson won by a wide margin. Dahlin 2, Tuch 3. He played with arguably the three most talented offensive players in the organization right now. Great job by Don Granato to recognize how to get the most out of Jeff Skinner, and how to get the most out of Jeff Skinner is you play him with guys like that. And no surprise, it worked. And for this season alone, 33 goals, his sixth 30-goal season of his career. 30 assists too, by the way. That might sound like a lot. That's the most Skinner has had since his rookie season. He had 32 assists in his rookie season in 2010-11. The last time the Sabres went to the playoffs is the last time Skinner had 30 assists. This year, he got there. And a lot of it was at 5-on-5. That is where Skinner is at his best. And that's where Granato allowed him to flourish. Skinner this year really came through on that $9 million contract. Maybe not all the way. Maybe he was more of a $6 or $7 million player that's getting paid $9 million. Who cares? We're not near the cap anyway. In those 80 games, Skinner ended up tied for 9th in the entire NHL in 5-on-5 goals this season. Skinner had 25 goals at 5-on-5. Only 5 power play goals. Never been a big power play goal guy. 25 goals at 5-on-5, 9th in the NHL, tied for 9th. That was more than Alex Ovechkin, more than Nathan McKinnon, more than Connor McDavid, Mitch Marner, David Pastrnak, Steven Stamkos. I could go on and on and on. He's been one of the best 5-on-5 players in the league in his career, and he showed up in that way this season in a big way. Simply put, he played with better teammates, he got more ice time, and he returned to the great goal scorer that he was before. And it's no surprise that all Don Granato had to do was utilize him the way every other coach that's not named Ralph Krueger has. This was a Ralph Krueger problem, not a Jeff Skinner problem, and I believe this season proved it. More than anything could prove it, this season proved that Skinner's production going down was a Krueger problem, not a Skinner problem. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll look ahead. What's to come with Jeff Skinner? The contract, good line mates. He's going to be 30, so we'll have to talk about the age a little bit as well. That's all coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We're brought to you by Athletic Greens. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, tough one, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. The special blend of ingredients helps you support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, everything. Please, if you look at the benefits of Athletic Greens, you realize that it's keto friendly, it's paleo friendly, it's dairy free, it's good for all diets, no nasty GMOs, contains less than 1 gram of sugar. It is healthy, and it's backed by over 7,000 5-star reviews, recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Go to athleticgreens.com/NHL network. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year of supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Just go to athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Joe DiBiase wrapping things up here in the Locked On Sabres podcast. So we talked about Jeff Skinner, the season that he just had. What about what is to come? Skinner will be 30 years old, and he's got 5 years left on his contract, $9 million per year, full no movement clause. He is not going anywhere, and he is not that we need him to go anywhere, but he's not going anywhere, and he is not going anywhere for a very long time. I think at this point, what we have in Jeff Skinner that we all recognize is a top 6 winger that is best when played with skilled centermen. It needs to be played with skilled centermen. That's not necessarily a criticism of Skinner. That's just what he is. He's always been that as a player. He's not someone that can very easily generate by himself. So play him with Tage Thompson or play him with Peyton Krebs. Krebs is very intriguing to me as a future Skinner line mate because his vision is off the charts. He's got maybe the best vision passing-wise on the Sabres, right up there with Rasmus Dahlin. And Skinner is a finisher. Skinner is a goal scorer, and I just think those two styles, they really mesh. I think Thompson's good for him as well because he generates so many chances. I'm a little hesitant to say that Dylan Cousins is a great fit for Jeff Skinner. I think Cousins in the offensive zone would work well with Skinner, especially being the offensive zone entryman that he is. But Cousins, I think we all envision more of a shutdown role, more of a gritty Chris Drury type of role where big important faceoffs when you're up 1 down the stretch and the shutdown line, when Crosby and McKinnon and McDavid and all the Matthews are out on the ice, Cousins goes out there to shut him down. And that's not really Skinner. Skinner's not going to play that style of defensive role. So I think Thompson makes sense for Skinner. I think Krebs makes sense for Skinner. And I really liked Alex Tuch with Jeff Skinner. Tuch having that up and down speed to get the puck to the net. Skinner very good working in and around the net, allowing Tuch to work in the dirty areas, free up some open up some space for Jeff Skinner. I like Tuch as my favorite winger to play with Skinner, and I think Thompson and Krebs both make sense for centerman. Now, Skinner spent most of this season as a number 1 power play guy. He was on the Sabres' number 1 unit. If there's one demotion I would have for Jeff Skinner going forward, it would be the power play. I would drop him down from power play 1 to power play 2 because here comes Jack Quinn. And Jack Quinn has got the shot that you want. He's got, right next to Victor Olofsson, maybe the best shot in the organization. And I think putting him on his one-timer to take the place of Jeff Skinner, maybe move Alex Tuch, Victor Olofsson, Cousins, move Middlestat, slide someone into the high slot, which is the area that Skinner likes to work in, and put Jack Quinn on the number 1 unit on his one-timer. I think that's the one change I would that I would want to demote Jeff Skinner from last year to this upcoming year would be on the power play. All right, that's going to do it for us today on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Alex Tuck will be our next exit interview. We'll look at the new Sabre winger who had about a half a season of work and did really well. We'll talk about Alex Tuck on our next show. Potential future captain Alex Tuck is who we'll break down next. So thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen Locked On NHL. From first round matchups to each Stanley Cup moment, Locked On NHL covers the playoffs like no other. Hear the latest news and opinions from local experts every Monday through Friday. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. We'll talk to you next about Alex Tuck here on Locked On Sabres.